Right, Jesse on fire. Welcome back to the channel. Now, as the headline read, I just stumbled upon this story, which is an Israeli rabbi who is essentially, not even essentially, is basically directly saying that the reason that Trump's behavior has been so out of character is due to his behavior towards Bibi Netanyahu. And now they're having to flex their muscles and blackmailing him with the Epstein files. It's so crazy that when I saw this headline, I'm like, there's no way this is true. Like, no way. Impossible. Choke dealer. What's up, dude? This is a live stream, by the way, for people who are going to watch this later on. So I'm going to interact with the crowd a little bit. But if anybody thinks this is clickbait, it's not. Okay? It's not. And we're going to go through exactly what was said. Grant, how are you, sir? And then we're going to ask ourselves some tough questions here, okay? Because let me tell you what cannot happen, okay? Nothing, okay? There is no scenario where this article gets printed and nothing happens. Unacceptable. That is an unacceptable outcome, okay? Someone needs to do something, okay? There is no scenario where, like, well, first of all, let me tell you what the first thing that needs to happen is. Everybody who has a platform needs to put this on their platform, okay? Straight up. Bottom line. Everyone needs to talk about it and be like, this is what they just said. Like, this is what this. Now, am I going to act as if like every Israeli rabbi speaks for the government of Israel? Of course not. Of course not. But when you have the amount of conversation happening, and then you have a, the Times of Israel, a very large periodical, publish a story where this dude, who is, what's his name right here? I don't know. Yosef Janowski, who is a rabbi. We'll look into him in a second. And I'll read you what he said. Okay. The Trump administration needs to say something about this. Bottom line. Okay. If at the very least, they need to say, this guy is full of shit. This is not true. Right? Like you would expect, at least at this point, they would go, this is ludicrous. Right? Because well, also like, why is it important that they make this denial? Oh, I don't know. Did you guys hear the story this week that they were putting legislation out that was going to make it to where we would withhold disaster funds if a state is boycotting Israel financially over the conflict in Gaza? Like when I first saw that, I'm like, there's no way that's true. And I looked it up. I'm like, oh my God, that's real. Like that was real. Withhold disaster funds. Okay. Let me tell you what is an acceptable reason for the federal government to withhold disaster funds from a state in the union. None. Okay. Fucking none. There's no scenario where if your state is doing XYZ, we will withhold disaster funds unless it has something to do with the cause of the disaster or something. As a matter of fact, I can't even actually think of a reason where that would ever make sense at all. Like, disaster funds are for people who have just had their lives destroyed by like weather or fire or pick a disaster. Okay. Those funds are not political bargaining chips ever. And they certainly are not political bargaining chips when the bargaining is over the state's economic relationship with a foreign country. The fact that even made it into the legislation. Now, let me make perfectly clear how I believe that this kind of thing happens most of the time is you have all these people that are like inside the government that are writing these things out, like the same way that it was so shocking to us, all these pardons that got written and all of these things that were signed by the auto pen, and Biden seemed to just not really know what was going on. He's like, wait, when they were like, we asked Biden why he stopped all natural gas exports to Europe in the middle of the Ukraine war. And he said, oh, no, we didn't do that. He's like, yes, you did. He's like, no, we didn't. We're doing some natural gas scientific experiments. And they're like, no. And he straight up did not know. Now, of course, in that case, he was suffering from dementia, stage 4 cancer that they were, covering up. But I don't think that is like that far off. I mean, that obviously is a very extreme example given the nature of that particular one that they got over on him. But there's all kinds of stuff that's happening in the, behind the scenes. You think that Trump looks at every single piece of legislation And so obviously there are actors inside of the process that are putting things like that into these things, right? But once that's in there, it's like that is so egregious that even if that is the case and he didn't know, for them to think they were going to get away with that is like disaster funds. Like, do you know what I'm saying? It's like, it almost seems like there's someone who's trying to make us know. They're like, we own you guys. Like, is that such an egregious, ludicrous thing to put in there? Like, just in case this is the first you're hearing about that, like, just try to wrap your brain around that for a second. Okay. You're living in North Carolina, and a hurricane just, causes a mass flash flood, destroys every single person's home in the entire area. You're desperate. You have no idea what you're going to do. Even federal funds are probably not going to help that much, but at least the federal government cares about you. And the federal government's like, oh yeah, we've greenlit these, we've got FEMA, we've got all this. And they're all, actually, no resources for North Carolina. And they're like, why not? And they're all, well, recently the state legislature decided that, they wanted to withhold this this importation of some product that Israel was doing because they didn't like what was going on in Gaza. It's like, I'm sorry, rewind that really quick. Like, hang on. You're going to withhold help from disaster victims because why again? They're all, well, there's an activist that's in the state legislature, and they passed this this thing that's, we're not buying this thing from Israel anymore. It's like, you understand we're talking about disaster funds. Yes, actually, this is a federal mandate now. Anybody who withholds any kind of financial transactions with Israel, you can't do disaster funds. You're like, I feel like there must be some kind of like translation that's not, because what you're saying does not make sense. That's not a thing that could ever happen in the United States. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Okay. So again, the fact that they even tried to pass this is so egregious, like so crazy that you have to ask yourself what's going on. Okay. And by the way, this is incredibly generous, and I absolutely will. Thank you so much, dude. Dr. Traeger, thank you, dude. I really genuinely appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. Very, very generous. So let's actually look at this thing now, and let's get everybody on the same page of exactly what we're talking about. Okay. So wait, where did oops. Oh, God, there it was, dude. I just lost it. Hang on. All right. So, dude, where did this folder, like, I lost the window that had that open because I got all worked up. Like, where is Reddit, dude? Where's it over here? Oh, there it is. Okay, I got it. Jeez, that was embarrassing. Okay. So, Trump, Israel, and the Epstein files. Okay. So, Trump and his administration criticized Netanyahu and Israel. This is written by this guy. And now the Epstein files are haunting them. For a long time, the files had subsided in the background. They weren't considered to be much of a threat to Trump, but all of a sudden, right after he started up with Israel, the files surfaced and they seemed to be overwhelming him. Trump blasted Bibi after shrapnel hit a church in Gaza. The church is in a war zone. It was not targeted. Rather, shrapnel from a nearby explosion hit it. Still, Trump berated Bibi and demanded that he publicly express regret. After Israel bombed places in Syria in order to protect the Druzy, administration officials from the White House referred to Bibi as a madman. It seems that Trump's ambitions, maybe to sign business and oil deals in Syria, or maybe to win the Nobel Peace Prize, are more important to him than preventing the slaughter of Druzy, more important to him than stopping Israel Druzy from crossing into Syria, something that would greatly escalate fighting and bloodshed. Huckabee also chimed in, blasting Israel for withholding visas from evangelical groups. It seems that Israel wants to first ensure that the groups don't plan to missionize, but Huckabee seems insensitive to Israel's concerns. Now, to be clear, I don't ever talk about what's going on in Israel. I don't know. I don't understand. I intentionally stay out of that. Like, I don't know anything about foreign policy, Middle East stuff. I don't even know who the Druzy are. That's why I never talk about this stuff. Okay. I'm not taking sides on it. I don't know. I don't understand it. Don't know. But I sure as fuck understand what withholding federal funds from Americans means. And I sure as fuck know what the implication that, oh, hey, we're blackmailing your president means. Okay. Like, if you say that out loud, Now I'm going to talk about it, okay? That's it. I don't get involved in shit that I don't understand. The second that, like, if people think that I'm like trying to avoid that because I'm scared to talk about different topics, no, I just don't talk about shit that I don't understand. Okay. This I understand. That's why I'm not even talking about this. I'm not talking about Syria, nothing. Huckabee also chimed in, blasting Israel for withholding. Oh, sorry. Trump decided to bomb Iran's nuclear sites, and that's commendable. Oh, you think, dude? I mean, I feel as though they wanted every single president to bomb Iran's nuclear sites for the last however many years, right? Like, I'm glad that they're, happy about that, because it seems like that was like a top priority for a very long time, and Trump did it. Anyway, Lauren Lauver, thank you very much. I appreciate you very much. Very generous. Thank you. And that's commendable. But reports later surfaced that he rejected the option to bomb for a week's time in order to finish off all the sites. Thus, only Fordo was severely damaged, while other sites had only minimal or no damage. No, he didn't, dude. Hey, so like I said, dude, I don't talk about things that I don't understand. I know what ungrateful looks like, though. I know what ungrateful looks like. Okay. Oh, Trump used the bunker busters and blew up the Iranian nuclear sites. Like something you guys wanted us to do forever, and we did it. And listen, do you think I want Iran to have a nuclear weapon? Of course I don't want them to have a nuclear weapon. This, though, honestly, if they were talking about Joe Biden, I would be like, what is going on? Okay, I am consistent on this stuff, dude. When Britney Griner was in a Russian prison and people were like, let her rot. Fuck that shit. Now, first of all, I think that's a dude. Just to be clear. I think that's a dude. But that's our fucking dude, okay? Britney Griner, I've seen the video of that dude in the pool shooting basketballs, but that's our dude, okay? Britney Griner's an American, okay? So I will always be like, okay, that's cool, that's whatever. But you can't hold Britney Griner. She's an American, dude, okay? We can talk about how she's juking the WNBA or doing whatever when she gets back to America. That now we can argue. But anybody who's American, who's in a foreign jail, fuck that shit. If they didn't deserve it, like that guy, that prankster that's in the Philippines, he can rot forever. I don't care about that guy. He's also not American. But like, again, if this was Joe Biden, I would be like, dude, first of all, if it was Joe Biden, I have a feeling I know what they'd be blackmailing with. They're all, hey, let's start talking about your involvement with that Ukrainian energy company. What's it called again? He's all Burisma. You're all, yeah, Burisma. Hunter, you too. Any truth to any of these accusations that that $1.5 billion that you withheld in aid to Ukraine was specifically to get them to fire the prosecutor who was going to investigate this incredibly corrupt energy company that you were being paid $1 million a year through your son with? He's like, I actually don't know what you were saying. And I would be like, yeah, of course they were doing that. But we'll go ahead. We'll handle that ourselves. We'll go ahead and handle that ourselves since it's the American president. Like, anyway, Fordo was severely damaged while the other sites had minimal to no damage. Okay, now some old files are threatening him. Perhaps Trump will realize that it really doesn't pay to start up with Israel. Just to make sure everybody can read that. Perhaps Trump will realize that it really doesn't pay to start up with Israel. Perhaps those implicated in the files will express contrition and regret. Hey, guys, tell us again how Epstein is not an Israeli agent, dude. Hey, anybody still buying that story? Not an Israeli agent? This is pretty bold, dude. Pretty fucking bold if he's not. You know what I mean? I'll read that part to you guys again. I feel like this entire section is very important because just the tone is all wrong. Like, Trump decided to bomb Iran's nuclear sites, and that's commendable. Keep in mind, this is coming from one guy. Okay, I just want to make that clear. This is not some like press release from the Israeli government. This is some fucking rabbi. However, it's a rabbi in the Times of Israel, and they actually published this. Like, they published this article. Trump decided to bomb Iran's nuclear site, and that's commendable. But reports later surfaced that he rejected the option to bomb for a week's time in order to finish off all the sites. Thus, only Fordo was severely damaged, while other sites had only minimal or no damage. And now some old files are threatening him. Perhaps Trump will realize that it really doesn't pay to start up with Israel. Perhaps those implicated in the files will express contrition and regret. I'm 70% Ashkenazi Jew, so I dare somebody to call me a fucking anti-Semite because I'm pointing out that a foreign country is overtly blackmailing our fucking president, according to them. You know what I mean? Is that anti-Semitism that I'm literally reading the thing that you're saying out loud in the public? Okay, I'm American. That's my whole point. Like, I'm an American. Is what I am. Okay, because when by divine providence, things that were hidden become revealed, it enables people to correct their mistakes and to endeavor to live their lives properly the way God wanted them to. Huh? Wow, that is, I mean, that's just, again, like, that's just like, so what, now we're conjuring God to talk about, blackmail? By divine providence, things that were hidden become revealed. It enables people to correct their mistakes and to endeavor to live their lives properly the way God wants them to. Are you actually pretending like you're being like you're in a position of like, look, I am a person who can give you advice on your relationship with God, except what you're actually doing is just overtly threatening to blackmail people with sexual blackmail? See what I mean? Like, let's just be honest. Like, that's exactly what you're doing. Like, that's exactly what that is. I would respect it if you just stick to talking about blackmail. Just don't, maybe don't cross the wires, dude. You know what I mean? Like, don't cross the wires. Be a rabbi, be a rabbi. I got no beef with a rabbi rabbiing. But you're rabbiing and pretending that you're rabbiing while you're actually just throwing a direct threat to, expose people that your agent had been collecting blackmail on. It's like, it's unbelievable, man. Everyone sees that the world is not a jungle and that God Almighty runs the world with compassion, giving humanity the ability to fix what's wrong so that we can have peace with true ethics. As God told Moses at Mount Sinai to tell all nations to adhere to the 7 Noahide laws, a peaceful world which will be filled with awareness of God, just as the waters cover the sea. May it happen very soon. I mean, geez, I like that part. It was more this whole section that really kind of rubbed me wrong, This is more the section that rubbed me wrong. That is wild, dude. That is absolutely wild. Mountain Goddess gifted 5 memberships. Thank you very much. And congratulations to anybody who got one. I really want people to publicly, like, anybody in government, they need to respond to that, dude. You know what I mean? It's like, just deny it. You know what I mean? Just deny it. Just say, that's not true. Just say, that's absurd. Just one time. Just be like, that's absurd. That would make me feel really good. Good day, guys. South Park never touched Biden. Speaks volumes to me. Dude, South Park never did anything about, like South Park literally, like, they were out of commission forever. And then they did COVID. And then they were like out for years again. And actually, the last time they did Trump was so funny before this last one when they did Mr. Garrison when he was on the comeback. If you guys haven't seen that one, oh my God, it's so funny. Like, because they had Mr. Garrison was like their Trump character before I haven't seen the newest one yet. But Mr. Garrison was like, I quit rallying. I'm not rallying anymore. And then he keeps sneaking away. And then he's rallying at night. He's like, we're going to get the Mexican down. It's fucking hilarious. It's really, really funny, dude. Like, those guys are just overtly funny. Like, don't get all caught up in like them making fun of whoever. It's just funny. Like, I mean, I haven't seen the newest one, but they're just funny, and they've historically always been on our side. Recent presidents have all been puppets to these guys, but they disguise that well. Trump could be alerting this by siding with them so blatantly. It's possible. Anything's possible. Like, and I totally agree. They have always done such a better job of like operating behind the scenes. Like, it's so crazy how overt And when I say they, I'm talking like the overall they, like, you know, the DNC, they like the DNC, this whole shit, anything that previously was like an invisible hand that was like guiding things. Now it's just, it's so crazy how overt they are. And you're like I heard Candace was on like I watched Candace with Tucker Carlson, and she was like, I would honestly just, I would prefer if they just were like, nah, boo boo, fuck you, there's nothing you could do. And I'm like, honestly, I feel that way too. You know, because no one would, this is the thing, no one would do anything. Like watching how everyone behaved during COVID, it was like, if they really, like, if they put the foot on put the boot on the neck, no one was going to do anything. Like, no one was going to do no one was going to do a thing. I could just feel it in the air. It was like, people will cowtail, dude. You'll have a few people that will like upright a little bit. And then as soon as they get smacked down once, no one will do anything. Like, people will fold. It's a terrible feeling to know that, but I am very confident about that, you know? And I believe me, I would love to be wrong about that. Okay. The only time that I had anybody really like really attack my like overlords attack my channel is when I tried to organize. I was talking about this yesterday. Did you hear they released FBI files saying they protected him as a spy? It's on the Watchers channel. I will check that out for sure. Thank you for sending that. Sam Wilson, 5 more memberships. Thank you, dude. And congratulations to anybody who got one. Yeah, like when they were going to go back to masking kids in Texas, and we had literally fled to California to avoid that. And I was like, this cannot stand. They have to come up with science to defend this. Okay. We need to figure out a way to get in touch with other people who are in our areas. We need to go to those school boards, and we need to make them defend what they are doing with science. They cannot just mandate that our kids put masks over their face when there's no science behind it. My kid can't breathe. She's having a hard time, you know, whatever. And I was just like, so like literally that's all I said was we need to go in there and make them defend their decisions with science. And that's the first strike that I ever got. It was insta, just boom, strike. And I was like, why? Like, I did not make a single medical claim. Not one. Not a single one. I just said, let's get together and let's go to the school boards and have a conversation. And I got a strike. I was like, wow, you know. But anyway, I don't know, dude. Yeah. Like I said, this whole thing, in all honesty, I'm not even necessarily talking about Israel. I'm talking about our government. I want to hear them deny this, dude. Like, deny this. This story is out now. There's going to be a lot of other channels covering it. Okay. This dude, they put this in the Times of Israel, and they overtly said, we are blackmailing Trump with the fucking files. Okay. Just deny it. Just come out and say, this is not true. You know what I mean? Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, just deny it. Say it's not true. Because you know he's going to see it. I saw it on Breaking Points. That's where I saw the story. So it's out there. I want a fucking denial of this. Just in the nick of time. What's up, man? Thank you for the super chat. Thank you very much. Anyone that thinks that Trump is in the Phillies is unintelligent. The Dems would have used it to stop. Oh, in the files would have used it to stop his election win. Man, dude, I 100% agree with that. If it was the Democrat, if the Democrats had anything on him, for sure they would have used it. Like 1,000%. They literally pulled out every single stop that they could have to try to stop Trump from winning. There's no question about that. Literally, there's that. Like, I am okay. So I never really paid a lot of attention to January 6th. It was too shady. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to know what's going on. So I just didn't even look. I'm like, there's plenty of smoke that this is some kind of fucking weird psyop. They're letting people in, whatever. I just never even looked at it. But anytime that I got into a conversation with someone where they're all Trump incited it, I'm like, no, he didn't. And you're never going to prove that. I didn't need to look at anything because I knew, as much as I know gravity exists, that if there was any way that they could prove that Trump incited it, they'd have put him in fucking jail. So the fact that they didn't, I was 1,000% sure that there was nothing out there that would have indicated that he actually incited it, because they would have put him in jail. Same as fucking gravity, dude. I was certain of that. And I am equally certain that if he was in the files that the DNC had, for sure, they'd bury him with it. The only way that there's anything out there is if Israel has it or whoever was running Epstein. And I'm not saying that they do. It could be equally likely if they're running him, it could be some kind of like financial deal that they did with Jared Kushner that like, oh, when this whole thing's over, we're going to build fucking whatever. It's like, I just want them to deny it, dude. That's it. I just want them to fucking deny it. Just deny it. He's going to pardon Maxwell. So if he does pardon Maxwell, I'm going to have a really, I mean, that's going to, yeah. Let me ask you this, dude. Hypothetically, okay, if there's a deal that's been made with her, I'll tell you what it looks like. And I just realized it this morning. We're going to put you in this minimum security thing at the end of the presidency, then I'll pardon. He knows there's no way he can get away with pardoning her. At least I think he does. If he pardons her, dude, I mean, I can't, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to Vegas tomorrow. I love you guys. I just needed to get this stream out. It's the last piece of content I'm going to be doing probably for at least 24 hours. So maybe me and Gabrielle go live tomorrow. But I got 2 videos that are dropping on Play with Matches. Me and Gabrielle have, that's me and Gabrielle's show. There's a link in the description. And yeah, so we're going to be, we got 2 videos coming there. Go check out that channel. You'll love it. One of my buddies, Adam, he sent me an email and he's like, dude, I feel like you're just covering news stories. Like I miss where you were doing like, and I'm like, and I didn't even think about it. It's like, well, I'm doing that on this channel. Like me and Gabrielle, that's all we do. We don't like cover news. We just like, that's exactly what this channel is. Mountain Goddess, thank you very much for the super chat. We need to consider the source and also take into consideration about any files that could have been manipulated in the last 4 years. Oh, totally agree. They knew we all had an interest in releasing it. Totally agree. 100%. That's exactly what I've said throughout this whole thing. I guarantee you that the file that was delivered from Maureen Comey is spiked. For sure. For the same reason that I'm saying that we already know, like you can predict their behavior because you're like, well, they'll just do what they always do, which is plant bullshit in those files. My whole point is it pisses me off that there are other countries implying that they are blackmailing our president. It's like, I don't care what country it is, dude. You got to fucking respond to that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, am I communicating this? Am I communicating this well? Do you know what I mean? Where it's like, it's the same thing as like, if I'm like walking down the street with one of my friends and like some teenage, some 19-year-olds like took a water balloon filled with piss and threw it at my friend and it hit him in the head. And he's just like walking straight. I'd be like, what the fuck? You gonna let them fucking get away with that, dude? It's exactly the same as that, where it's like, they just threw a piss water balloon at your head, dude. Like you're just gonna keep walking and act like that didn't happen. That's kind of my point. It's like, dude, you need to address this and say, fuck you. You know what I mean? Or at the very least, deny it. Anyway, you guys are the best. I love you guys. And yeah, I'll see you guys very soon. Bye-bye.